after my interlude and talk with Jessica Karim. Y'all, so y'all hold silent. That's right. We're on live. We're gonna get this thing done one way or another. What's up to y'all? Welcome to Third Eye Visions, where we motivate the blind, stimulate your mind, and welcome all kind. Today's topic: intersectionality between race and disability. And I have a very special guest today. She was on here a couple of weeks back, but I did part two of this particular discussion, and I want to focus. I did part one of this, and I want to focus on part two. And I brought her on here so that she can talk about um, this particular topic, which is very much dear to her and very much dear to my heart as well. So before I forget, y'all, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff. So without further delay, because I'm gonna play a clip of the video that I want you all to check out. But before I do that, I want to bring on Jessica Karim to the show and talk with her a little bit. How you doing, Jess?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Before I forget, tell everybody about your YouTube channel where you can be found. In the meantime, I'll pull up the clip that I want you to play. So tell everybody, you take over for about 2 minutes. Tell everybody where you're from and just a little bit about your YouTube channel, and I'll get back with you.
Sure thing. So, my name's Jessica Karim. I'm 20. I'm a social work major in college. I'm a POC, person of color, originally from Guyana. So, I have relatively dark brown skin. I do have a YouTube channel, just my name. So, JessickaKarim, which I'm sure Anthony will link to. I talk a lot about college as a blind student, just because when I was starting out, my college journey, I didn't see that perspective. So I wanted to kind of give tips and advice to college students, talk about my favorite TV show. I do random tags. I talk about everything. So feel free to subscribe if you wish.
Okay. Um, here we go. Okay, we're gonna play this clip, and we're gonna get into why I brought Jessica on here. So y'all hold for a second and let us get this thing jumping. So how long have you been having your YouTube channel?
Just about 2 years, actually. I started it in June of 2018.
Have you been having any success with it?
Not really. Honestly, people just kind of people watch, people don't watch. I'm not one of those people that shares their videos a lot because the way I see it, if people are going to watch me, they're going to watch me without me having to advertise myself. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, let us play this clip, and then we're gonna get back to why I brought you on here. Hold up. Here
Sure.
we go.
I want to talk about the intersectionalities I face in terms of disability and race, because for me it's been something, with everything that's been going on right now, it has been something that I just keep going back to. And just with George Floyd and just everything in the world right now, I think I need to talk about it. And it's been hard, you know. My friend Gab did something like this a few days ago, and I just wanted to pay homage a little bit, because for me it's weird because I want to talk about it, but I don't know if I have grounds to, because I'm not black. I'm brown, which is, it's not black, but it's not white. So it's like, what side of this do I stand on? But then it's like, I feel like in society, you're either on one end of the spectrum, or the other. You're either a POC, or you're white. So it's weird because I want to say it, but I also don't know if I have grounds to. It's anyway. But for me, race has always been a thing I've had to think about. It's always been something that I've had to grapple with, in the sense that I don't look like a lot of people, and even just figuring out like where do I fit in, because I'm Guyanese, which is in South America.
Okay.
For me, it's been something I've
Cool. Jess, um, if you can explain briefly why this topic is of great importance to you, because I found it to be very important. Why is this, such a great important topic that you want to discuss on your channel?
I mean, I think about it a lot. I think about it as someone that's never been white, that's also not black. I'm not white, I'm not black, but I'm much closer to black than I am to white. I think about it as someone that goes to a school that is predominantly white, where people don't look at me as, I'm friendly and I have a lot of friends, but it's weird. I think about it a lot when I get a job or I get an internship or I get something that's high standing, and I wonder a lot, like, are they hiring me or enjoying me or doing whatever for me because of I'm confident and I'm intelligent, or are they doing it because they're trying to fill a quota? And after everything that's going on in the past few months with BLM, I've thought about it a lot more, just due to the fact that it's kind of more to the forefront. And I think for me, race and these intersectionalities are things that I've always had to think about, but they don't really come to the forefront of my mind until something catastrophic like this happens in our society that makes us kind of be forced to think about them.
Okay. Now you did mention in your video about the protest, and you didn't feel that you fit in regards to what was going on. Not briefly. Tell us why you felt that way, because to me personally, and I feel that regardless of a person's race, I mean, if you in your mind, if you feel that you have there's a cause for something, I feel that no matter the color of the person's skin or what have you, you go out and you become an activist regardless. Explain to us why you felt that you didn't feel like a part of it.
I don't ever want to make assumptions or make generalizations about communities that I'm not part of. I want to help, and I have spoken out. I've done a lot of like sharing on Facebook and stuff like that, but I haven't. It's not like I didn't want to make that video because I was like, I'm brown, so like I want to be able to speak out, but I don't represent black people because, well, I'm not black, but I still want to say something because I'm definitely not white. So for me, it was this constant kind of struggle of wanting to make myself aware, but also not wanting to validate others' feelings and others' emotions about this that are in the black community.
Now, do you think a person's race should exclude you from speaking out against like certain situations like this?
No, of course not. I think that everyone should be able to speak out, and this has been getting a lot of traction specifically because a lot of white people have been speaking out. So I value that. But I think for me personally, I just wanted to be able to speak out, but not try and make it seem like I was speaking for the black community. You know what I mean? Kind of like
Right.
make people aware that I do have an opinion, but I am not black. So my opinion isn't necessarily 100% valid because I'm not a part of that specific community, but I still care.
And I'm not I don't want to hammer you or hammer the host, the situation, and that's not why I brought you on by the protest. But do you feel, and I may have asked this question again, do you feel that you have to kind of walk a thin line in order to not offend anyone? Because I feel like no matter what, even though you are a person POC and you are from Guyana, or your people are from Guyana, you still have a voice. So it doesn't matter, to me. That's why I'm saying, do you feel that?
Yeah, I think that there's definitely a fine line between wanting to speak out, but you don't want to speak for this community. You don't want to make it sound like I am representing them. I don't represent all brown people, don't represent all blind people, don't represent all women. And I think I tried to make that specific in my video. Like, this is my experience. These are my thoughts and my actions and how I feel. I don't represent everyone, especially with the black community. You don't want to make all these generalizations because as much as I feel for them, I'm not black. So I want to make that, clear.
So do you feel that you relate only to people who are brown or from Guyana, or whom do you feel that you can relate best to? You follow me?
I do. I think I think that when you're a marginalization, you will face discrimination. And I think that discrimination is very common, no matter, what whether you're Black, white, Asian, female, transgender, whatever, you will face discrimination. So I think that's commonality. I do relate to the brown community, to the Guyanese community a lot, just because I am that. But there are also, I also think that the Black community does have things that I can kind of empathize with, where it's like they're not taken as seriously, and they have to validate themselves even more. And I think that's something that happens regardless of what minority group you belong to. As long as you're a minority, you're going to have to fight for things that privileged people don't necessarily have to think about fighting for.
You're a very bright kid. I mean, kid, I don't want to say individual, man. You speak very articulate. You express yourself in a way that's pretty good. Do you, what if you, off the top, as far as people from Guyana or people who are of your color, what kind of discrimination do you all actually face? You know what I'm saying? Because you just mentioned that you do understand that Black people do have a reason to do what they do and say what they say. What about the people of your race and your color or from your country? What are you all experiencing?
I think a lot of it is linguistically. My parents came here and they speak well, but they speak broken English. A lot of it's definitely looks. We've gone to upper end, more Caucasian establishments and have been followed or stared at. Definitely. So I want to say linguistically, and then also just visually, we get looked at a lot. And for me, that's something I really do have to grapple with, because a lot of blind people will meet me, or a lot of people will talk to me over the phone, and my name is Jessica. Like, I definitely don't sound like whatever you think someone is brown should sound like, which brings up the question, why do we have to be validated as a certain race if we don't sound like a certain race when we shouldn't have to? Does that make sense?
That definitely makes sense. And as you were talking, I was reflecting on, I did my homework with the video. You talked about your dad, who was a contractor, and he's a very large guy. Tell us about that. That it's like, he still experienced, people staring at him and just.
Well, I had never. I mean, I'm sure he's gotten stared at, but I had never witnessed it until we were getting a birthday gift, and we were in a high-end store, and they kind of just like stared at him, and I'm like, oh my God. And I think that's something that blindness, in a way, shelters me from, that I can't see those stares, that I can't see those hurtful looks, that I don't see the people that move to the opposite side of the street, which is kind of nice. But also, when you do recognize that, it really makes you aware of how prejudiced society actually is.
Okay, look, hold that thought, because that's a good point, because I wanted to ask you about that, because you brought up a good point. Do you think, even though people the saying that people should be judged by the content of their character, not the color of their skin, do you think blind people have an advantage in that aspect because they can't see how a person looks?
Nope, definitely not. I think that blind people receive messages from their family and from sighted people around them as of to what those people think is acceptable for race. And I think that, regardless of whether they're totally blind or not, once they find out what race you are, they do have judgments, they do have biases, whether they're implicit or not, or aware of it or not, because that's what's being taught around them. I hate the idea that blind people cannot be racist, because I think they are. Not because they can see the color, but because they hear these messages and they are inherently aware of them. A lot of people think I'm white.
And that's gonna be that was gonna be the next part. Let's exclude that from the topic or the subject, in terms of what you're saying. It's true about people, as far as racism, it's taught in most cases. Just say that a blind person is not taught. Do you still feel that they have the advantage to just judge on their own, as opposed to knowing, okay, he's Black, he's white, and because
I do, yeah. For me personally, I never go into something automatically disliking someone, and that's not even concerning race. That's concerning anything, I can't look at you and know I'm not going to like you because of the size, or because of what clothing you're wearing, or because of how you carry yourself, or because of the color of your skin. And I really do value that, in the sense that, like, I don't judge you instinctively. I might judge you once we've had 5 minutes of conversation and spoken, but I'm not going to sit here and look at you and be like, okay, I don't like you because you're X, Y, and Z. So I think that while blind people can be racist, I do think there is a point where we cannot be judgmental and we cannot be as rude upon first impression as sighted people are, because sighted people can look at someone and just like instantly not like you.
And though they do that, do you still feel that they have been taught to think as such and to feel as such? You see what I'm saying? Even though
Like,
like you stated that sighted people can look at a person and instantly, develop a sense of hate or whatever. Do you think that still had been taught, while they were young, to know that if you see a person of color, if you see a person, to feel this particular way, because they're not going to immediately be hating because you're black, or you're white. It had to have been,
yeah.
okay,
A
cool.
lot of these messages and a lot of what sighted people, everyone has experienced messages of racism or messages of dislike, or even just the acceptance of people, but it all comes from somewhere. Blind, sighted, whoever, all of these people have had someone look at them or point things out to them, and that has shaped their perceptions of people of color. And I think a lot of sighted people, I mean, this is also like, not most sighted people, I want to say, are pretty aware. Most are nice, most are whatever. But I still think that regardless of what you're sighted or blind, those messages do have to come from somewhere, and that will shape how
There you go.
you view race as you grow up.
Okay, great point. What's your depiction of an ideal like world or ideal country from a person who's visually impaired, and a person of POC? What would you like? What do you have any dreams of saying? Okay, man, if this world was blank, or if this world was like this would be a good, pretty good country or world to live in. You follow me?
I do. I think that what is harmful for me a lot as a brown person is stereotypes, and it's this self-doubt. And I wish that we as POC didn't have to constantly feel that way. A white person can get a job and be proud that they got a job. When I get a job, I automatically think that I'm trying to fill something, that I'm trying to fit into a box. And I hate that I do that. And I wish that our world was just more aware. And it's really sad that that there's such a lack of POC in almost every aspect, that when we do get picked, or when we do get hired, or when we do get chosen, we have to have these messages in our heads. Like, why are they picking me? Are they picking me because I'm good? Are they picking me because I'm a woke prop? And that's something white people don't have to think about.
And that we'll never know, don't you think? We'll never know if we.
No, it's still gonna happen.
Exactly. Now, someone had told me that you speak very well. They wanted to give you that compliment.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, my parents, I'm first generation. My parents had me right after they got here. So I think growing up, I really had to kind of make myself as whitewashed as possible, speak as well as I could, articulate and enunciate, because they couldn't do it. And I think I've done that too much, honestly, because I definitely don't sound like I'm brown. I definitely don't sound like I'm not white. And that's something I really noticed as I got older. And, I live on campus, but I will live on campus and be around a lot of white people and come home and realize, wow, they differently. And that's something I never really thought about until I was in that situation.
Let me touch on what you stated, and I'm gonna play the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
You say you tried to make yourself sound as whitewashed as possible. Can I ask why?
I don't know. I don't think I did it purposefully. I just think that I recognized that they weren't able to, and I recognized how hard. I think I always knew that I would have to that I would have to validate myself more than a lot of other people, because I'm in so many marginalization groups. So I think inherently I knew that in order to do that, and in order to make myself as reputable as possible, I had to speak well. I had to not use slang. I had to not sound ghetto, because if I did, then more stigma and more stereotypes would be placed on me than they already are as someone who is a disabled woman of color.
Okay, that's a good point. So what would you say? And I'm just, and it's not me speaking person. I'm just giving you, and I know you're able to handle it. What would you say to people who say that? And people do say this. Oh, she's trying to, and I hate when people say this, but it's true. This is the world. Oh, she's trying to sound like she's white. What do you say?
I mean, honestly, maybe a good thing. You know, if I spoke slang and if I sounded quote unquote black, would I be as recognized? Would I be as well received? The answer is probably not. No, the answer is definitely not. Because the way you speak and the way you carry yourself has a huge impact. And I've had to recognize that as a black, totally blind person who is of color and who doesn't sound like she's of color, where, you know what? I mean, honestly, if you think I sound too white, fine. But reality is, it's definitely gotten me a lot of places. It's gotten me a lot of public speaking gigs. It's gotten me to be treated with more respect than I would have if I came in here and started speaking slang.
Okay. So I don't want to. Okay, I just, I understand where you're coming from in most cases, but like that people can also look at the fact that, because like we're dealing with intersectionality, it's overlapping of overlapping races, gender, things of that nature. But I'm glad that you cleared it up in terms of explaining to people in terms of how you feel about that situation. Has there ever been a situation where people have gotten you confused? I know blind people do.
Blind people definitely.
Tell us about that. Tell me about that.
I was on a phone call with this writing group, and it was a big group of blind people, most of whom I'd never really met or spoken to. And the friend of mine that was running the group was like, yeah, Jessica's POC. And they're like, you are? And then I'm like, I know. I sound like that obnoxious girl that orders the really complicated Starbucks drink, but I am. I really am. I am. So things like that happen. I always wonder, like, when I talk to someone on the phone, if they just think, like, I'm white. The name Jessica doesn't help with that for me.
Definitely. Okay. So, I before we conclude, because you just got another comment from Jenny. How you doing? Saying you're brilliant. You speak very brilliantly. Now, as opposed to, and I'm not the most. Me personally. I'm just putting myself in the shoes. I don't have the greatest diction. I don't speak whatever. But what you said was you want to become whitewashed. I can't let you go with this one in terms of, is that you hear how I speak, okay, versus the way that you speak. Now, what will be the situation? Would you consider me speaking in a different way, or would you consider me speaking less favorable to you, or what have you?
No. Oh God, no.
I want to clear that up because of my audience. Yeah, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I never, ever want people to think that I think less of them. My parents have accents, really thick accents. I never, ever want people to think that I think less of them for the way they speak, because the way you speak is fine. Like, no, don't change yourself. I didn't practice speaking like this. I don't even know how it happened. I think I just kind of, I don't know, fell into it. And I think that, no, speak however you.
Okay, that's a good point, Jess. Because
just as much respect.
Look, I want to ask you. Go ahead. Okay, you were through. You finished with
yeah, I'm all.
Okay, I want to because I was teased when I went to Louisiana State University, and I hung around with a lot of people who are Caucasians, a lot of people from other parts of the country, as well as other parts of the world. Came back home, and I was ridiculed for the way that I spoke. So I understand wholeheartedly of what you had gone through and what you are going through, and I'm glad that you clarified that. And I didn't want to keep harping on it, but I just had
to. No. I'm glad you did, because I don't want people to watch me think, oh my God, she's gonna think I'm terrible if I don't speak like she does. No, not at all.
Okay. Well, look, let's see. Okay, everybody giving you compliments.
Oh, thank you all so much.
How you doing, Dominique Parker? I have you on here as a regular because you. How old are you?
I'm 20. I turned 20.
And what's in the plan for you, Jess?
Regarding what, school or this channel?
Anything, activism.
So I'm studying social work. I've always loved listening to people. I love talking. I love helping. So I'll be a junior in the fall, and then definitely getting a master's. So I'll be in school for at least 3 to 4 more years. I don't know, YouTube. I don't think of myself as a prolific YouTuber. I publish things and I'll do a collab, but I do it for fun. I don't do gain anything. Like, I'll do it like when I meet someone. I don't start with, "Hi, follow my channel."
Right.
I don't. Like, it's something I do because I enjoy advocacy, and because I feel like as a brown person who's totally blind and in college, that's a perspective I don't really see, or I never got to see. Because sure, I think it's like 33% of blind people that start college actually finish. And I wanted to put that out there, but I also just I like YouTube because it allows me to sit down in front of a camera and simply just talk for however many minutes and upload it. And if people watch, they watch. And if they don't, they don't. But it's
There
kind
you
of
go.
little space of the internet.
You are a little darling. I gotta give it to you. You got pizzazz, you got style, and I know this off the cuff and what have you. But what I wanted to tell you. Oh, yeah, I'm glad to know that I'm in that 33% as well. I finished.
Yeah, I think about it a lot. I'm scared. I'm terrified that I'm gonna do well in college.
You're gonna finish. You're gonna finish.
No, that's not it. I'm scared that I'm gonna do well in grad school and get my degree and then still not get a job because society is so racist and ableist. So,
welcome to the world. So as we sum up, tell everybody. So you promise you're gonna be a regular every once in a while back on.
Oh yeah, let me know. I can't speak when I go back to campus because I live in a triple and I'll have 2 roommates. So I don't know how long I'll be able to keep it up.
Well, tell everybody where they can find you at and all the good stuff. I'm putting in the comments.
Sure. You can find me on YouTube at Jessica Karim, JESSICAARIM. There is an email address in my about section if you want to email me. We can talk. You can also find me on Twitter at JTKARIM numbers.
Hello, Jessica. Wait, at where?
YouTube and then Twitter.
Okay, I got what's the Twitter?
JT.
JT.
ARIM 2126.
Okay, y'all go support this young lady, man. It's another collaboration, man. Sorry I couldn't get to y'all comments. Y'all leave them. Please hit the like while y'all on here. Thanks for these new supporters. Really, go to her channel and subscribe because y'all gonna get a lot of. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, I talk a lot, yeah.
Definitely. So with that being said, let's finish up with conclude with this with intersectionality between race and disability. Let everybody know what's going on about it. Just sum it all up and put it in one big bow, and we're gonna wrap it up and get up out of here.
Yeah, definitely don't be afraid to talk about it. If you're a marginalized person, for me, I don't think about it until something like this happens. And I sat down and I was like, these are things that I think about more than most people. And if you want, talk about it or message me. We can talk about it because it's something that's very important. And it's something that I find to be vital because if we were all one race, if we were all able-bodied, the world wouldn't be an interesting place. So make your voice heard and speak out because you never know who it might reach.
Okay, cool. And send a shout out to your 2 compadres right quick.
My what?
2 friends.
Gabby. Oh yeah, definitely subscribe to Gabby and Chelsea. They are also amazing, awesome blind women who are POC. We had a whole video on Anthony's channel here. Watch that. They're great.
Third Eye Visions. Okay, love you all. Thanks again, Jessica. Go do your duties now. Appreciate it. And that's about it. I'm glad y'all enjoyed the show.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, bye.
Bye.